So here we have two Taylor dreadnaughts, and these two guitars are, let's see, 2023 versus 1997. So what is that, 26 years apart? 26 years apart from each other. Now, on your left, you'll see the Taylor 810 WMB. And on that guitar was purchased new in 1998 by me from a Straight Music in Austin, Texas. Went in to buy Martin, came out with a Taylor. In 1998, Taylor was a 24-year-old company. And so they were real unknown at that point in time. And some people had known about them, but by far and away, they were kind of an unknown company that made good guitars at a really reasonable price. This guitar out the door in 1998 was $1,600 with a hard shell case. Now, apparently I had a different case than it originally came with. So maybe they ran out of the pink poodle cases, or maybe mine's unique. Either way, no matter how you look at it, Straight Music Company sold me this guitar for $1,600 out the door. Used my tax return in 1998 to buy it. Over here is the Taylor 417e-R, and the 417e-R is the newest version of Grand Pacific, and it is, to the best of my knowledge, the first Grand Pacific that has spruce and rosewood, spruce top, rosewood back and sides, that has a gloss finish. Most of the other ones have been builder's editions, like the 717 is a builder's edition that has a satin finish. So with that in mind, it has a inherently different sound as well as build than the 717, 517, 317s that came before it. And of course, very different because of the wood pairings than the AD17, which is spruce and now walnut, but it originally started off as a spruce and Ovencall back and sides guitar, and then the spruce and walnut, and of course the AD27, which is an alternate wood mahogany guitar. With that in mind, these two guitars represent some of the best of their respective generations. The 810 was offered in several different iterations over the years. This one was, like I say, a special edition for 1997 that was offered, and apparently there was about 279 of them made. And of those 279, some had pick guards, some didn't. Some had cutaways, some didn't. I mean, there has been a lot of different versions that have shown up with the 810, and people have added pickups to them. People have done all kinds of stuff, and it's just, like I said, it's a great guitar. And we've had this on the channel before, so it's really not new, but I really wanted to put the 810 up against the 417 to find out which one really, what the sound is and how it sounds. Now the 810 does not have a pickup, so we're just going to run these two as guitars with no amplification today, even though the 417 does have the ES2 system on it, so it could be plugged in. But it's also an 417e-R right now, stickers for just under $3,000. These you can get for between 2 and 3, depending on what appointments you get on an 810. The WMB is unique because it has a little bit different bracing that became the way they did things on the 810 later, but the appointments on it are a little bit different. And you can see it does not have a pick guard, and that makes it different because pick guards are different. So with that in mind, let's get them tuned up and find out what they sound like. So for reference purposes, the 810 comes in wearing a spruce top with a rosewood back and sides And this one has lived most of its life in the case. I don't even hardly ever take it out, but it has a gorgeous back to it that is very, very indicative of Taylor backs of guitars. The sides are just moderately done. The bridge pins are the original ones from Taylor. They have the little, I think that's abalone inset in them, the abalone on the rosette. And then it just has a basic stock. Now, something I thought that this guitar had was, I thought this had a shiny headstock. But I guess that's just the way Taylor does their headstocks. Even though it's a matching-ish headstock, it is a basic satin finish. And so I guess Taylor headstocks are just satin finish. Now, the back of this neck has become polished in areas, even though it started life off as satin, because I play a lot of cowboy chord area. So this part of the neck has, over the last 26 years or 25 years, become quite shiny. So this guitar has been with me through move after move, girlfriend after girlfriend, and wife and kids and everything else. So it has been something that has moved around with me and I have enjoyed for decades. And it just keeps on singing. But this guitar does everything that I think a Taylor should do. It sounds good, it plays good, it's got the neck that just is easy to play on. It has Grover tuners, and they just work. They work well, actually. But it does a little bit of everything. So it plays really well, and the neck is amazing, and the sound is just, I mean, whether you're flat picking or the bass response on this guitar is Gibson quality good. I mean, now the high end doesn't cut like some of the other guitars do. And that's not bad. I mean, if you're looking to be able to sing over a guitar, this one does a really good job of emphasizing the bass and also being able to talk over it even. And it just does everything right. So how does that compare in sound to the 417? Let's find out. So the 417 comes in with the ability to amplify it. So that's kind of a fun little deal. But this neck, very similar, though if I'm looking at it, we're going to look at this. Okay, so this looks like it has a scarf joint on the neck, and that's not really a bad thing or anything, but I don't think that the 810 has that. We're going to take a look at that in just a matter of fact. Let's just do that right this minute. So right here, you can see there is a difference in wood texture, and I'm almost positive that is a scarf joint. Now, with that in mind, look at the back of this. Very similar to the rosewood that's on the 810 back. But right here, I don't see a scarf joint. Do you? I wonder if that's something that's been changed in the years and years since this guitar was built. But it's not bad. I want to point that out. Scarf joints are actually theoretically stronger. But it is something to notice that the 810 has no scarf joint. So if you are a neck purist and want a solid piece of wood for your neck, the 810 might be your choice. So now, in this guitar, you've got a similar kind of, not really rosette, it's like a, surround around here is very similar, but it's not like it's abalone or something. There's a difference in the way it is. So I'm not sure if you prefer the other one or you like the little more subdued one, but this one is not nearly as active as the other. Now, the inlays are dramatically different, though not. If you look at the inlays here, you'll see that they almost kind of harken to each other. The 417 having a slightly different and newer inlay that just looks different. But at the end of the day, it's the sound that does everything. This one now has Taylor tuners that kind of look like they might be Grovers that have just been rebranded, though maybe Taylor makes their own now. But no matter how you look at it, now this guitar in prototype form was the first one that I picked up in a Taylor lineup that I actually went, wow, I can justify the price for. The 8017 and 8027 guitars, they do have a different sound than this, and there's something about this particular pairing of woods, and maybe there's something else about the way the setup is, but it sings in a different way than the 8017. The American Dream guitars have a different play to them, and they don't have quite the sound. And this guitar resonates just like the 810, but there's a different emphasis on some of the music. And it tends to emphasize the mid-range and the highs a little more articulately. So it just does everything well too, but it does it in a different type of well. And I don't know that I have a favorite here. I think if you're going to have something, you kind of need to have both, because the bass response of the 810 gives it a sound that is uniquely the 810. And the 417, as good as it is, it doesn't quite have the bass growl that the 810 does. It just has a little bit less and these are old Elixir strings, and it still has more bass than the Grand Pacific does. Now, maybe that, so this really is a up to you deal. I think I'd still choose the 810, especially with some new strings on it. The 810 was definitely going to be my favorite, because I'm biased by it being my favorite. So, which one do you think you'd rather have? Like I say, I obviously chose the 810 because of my history with it, but also because of the bass response that it gets. And I gotta give the 417 credit. It is going to replace the 8017 and 8027 that were in the lineup. So those guitars, the 8017 is actually already gone. The 27 will be up for sale. So if you're looking for a good deal on 8027, let me know. I'm gonna have one for sale. But again, if you can find the 810 for a good price and good condition, definitely play one, because they are unique, limited edition guitars with a history. And if you can find a 417 on a deal, I recommend them too, because it's the next best thing. Again, like I say, I chose 810. I will every time, because up until the price tag of the AD17, I couldn't justify getting another Taylor guitar. But that's it. So now you've heard them. Talk about it in the comments. We'll see you next time.